Starting to the top right of the map, we have the Zerg player in red. It is
Dimaga from Europe.
He's up against his opponent, the Evil Genius, at the bottom left in the 1-0 lead in this best of 3. It is
Yeezy Revival Raid Call from America.
And one of the things that is also true, which is a little bit sad, if Dimaga actually loses this game without taking a map, this also means that in this entire tournament, not a single foreigner was able to take a single map against a Korean player.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's hard to believe. It's kind of sad, but that's definitely that would be the case. And Dimaga so close to taking some games. Same could be said of Stefano and TLO, but. We'll see. Dimaga's not out of this yet.
No, he's definitely not out of this yet. He is now a Neoplanet S. This is his map choice, where we might see him just take the game and bring it to a third match. That's what he wants to do here. Revival, he is of course in a great position right now, taking this early lead against his opponent, being 1-0 now in this series. And he knows that if he wins, he is up against Roro. So another Zerg versus Zerg. Both players are going into the hatch first on this map. Let's find out what Dimaga can do here. He needs to take this.
He needs it. He needs the win very badly. Both players with the direct same opening. Hatch first into extra drone. Dimaga, will he make the second drone as well? Looks like he is going to go into pool, so a little bit safer build, just slightly.
Yeah, gets the pool earlier than his opponent, just by a few seconds.
Just by a drone, basically, is the only difference. And also, Revival going for the faster gas here. Just slightly. I mean, again, these little variations can make small differences as to whether or not you get a scout in with your Zergling when it's the same builder like this.
Yeah, a lot of Zergs still trying to figure out how exactly to play this game now that we had those changes to the Spore Crawlers, but you can really see that we have very different approaches to the game. We see a few Swarm Hosts, we see a couple of Ultralisks. Not the usual composition that you will see in this matchup, but it's something that you can try out. We have a lot of Mutalisk versus Mutalisk plays still being executed in this matchup. And now even the gas in the main base of Dimaga. I'm curious to see what he's going to do this time. And especially with Revival's aggression in game number 1, him going for the long drawn out game is something that just shows that he's also able to play very different styles.
Yeah. He's got a great repertoire of builds to use. And this is Revival's first ZVZ in this group. If he wins it, he'll play a second one against Roro. And we'll have the Battle of the R's, the Battle of the Zergs.
Yeah, Revival versus Roro, this is definitely would be a good one. I personally would prefer Dimaga against him. I would like to see the foreigner here. I really like Revival too, though. I mean, for me, this is a little bit of I'm a bit torn here. Dimaga being a foreigner, being European, Revival a player that I've seen grown in TSL and now, of course, in AG. Seen him play a lot at Pro League and other tournaments. So both players are really, really nice. Would be happy to see both of them advance, but it's not possible anymore. This is like the one game that he comes down to, the best of 3 in total, of course.
Yep. And it could be just this game if Dimaga loses here. And Revival goes for the faster Baneling Nest. Dimaga puts his down just literally a second later. Both of them playing very safely here, so I think this is going to be one of those games that's all decided by the third base and the gas, which we saw already earlier today. And this is one of those maps where the third base is really, really far away. And in this matchup, both players will take the base, for example, on Revival's side right above his natural and on Dimaga's side right below. And you have to be able to get those 5th and 6th gases up to get the Mutas.
Yeah. Mutalisks are most likely what we're going to see. We could also see Roach aggression. You can hit several Roach timings that you're trying to go for. And Mutalisks are not the only response anymore in this matchup. Something that I haven't seen just yet is Zerg. I mean, it has definitely been done, but Zerg's just trying to take against Mutalisk a third base by spreading Overlord creep and then just walking Spore Crawlers over that they already built earlier than that. Lings are still running in, trying to get those scouting information.
Oh, nice.
It's no problem for Revival whatsoever.
This is exactly what I was talking about when it comes to the speed being done 2 seconds earlier. Sometimes those Lings will get in the base.
Yeah, but that, to be honest, it didn't matter here. Like the Zergling speed for Dimaga, even if he has it, he doesn't take down 2 drones. He needs to have queens at the two Lings. He needs to have queens at the front. 2 Lings against 2 Lings, you can always run by it.
True.
But he needed something to block the ramp, but I don't think he even tried.
Well, in this case, they both have layers coming down. And as far as gas banks go, Revival has a tiny advantage.
Yeah.
Nearly 40 gas more. That's not even a Mutalisk. And going into roaches.
Yeah, there is so far no commitment to any kind of banelings. Only 2 banelings per base just to be on the safe side. Passive banelings that are trying to just hack the choke points. But we have now the transition into Revival's roaches. It's going for it, whereas Dimaga is most likely going for the Spire once that he's done with his lead tech.
Revival also adds his Infestation Pit here. And I was feeling like he was just going to go right into some sort of roach timing with maybe even +1. But with the Infestation Pit, obviously this is a different scenario entirely.
Hey, Dimaga is playing this more standard, more what we've seen in Heart of the Swarm so far. He's going into Spire. And this will help him to, at least for a while, dominate the map and have the control. Chase those overlords away of Revival, and the Roach one has been spotted already. All the tech, by the way, has been spotted. Dimaga with the Overseer, getting all the information that he needs.
Yeah. Big Ling run by down here to the south. Dimaga committing quite a bit to this. But if he sends that right over to the third base, that hatch will have to be cancelled, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. There they go.
Yeah, of course, that's the idea here. But the Banelings, he needs to attack them, and that's what he does, and he will actually get both of them.
Yep.
So he sends over small forces of Lings. The cancel is good. That's the next one, and here comes the cancel.
No cancel. Great
misses
victory there for Dimaga.
Yeah, definitely. And now the Roaches are going to be taken out. Whoa, Revival. Careful, buddy.
Yeah. And Dimaga going into a fast hive again. Is he really going to go into Broodlords like this?
It looks like he's definitely toying around with the idea. This is not going to be Ultralisk by him this time. He takes down the drone, and he has even more Lings coming in. Revival is going to stop cold in his tracks.
He is just feeling the train of pain right now. He's even making a spine crawler and a few spores.
Yeah, he's getting the spores now because he knows that Dimaga is going into the spy. He's doing basically exactly what I just said. He spreads creep with an Overlord and then goes into the spores to save this early on. So that's a good choice. That will allow him to get the third out. But we have Dimaga already, Revival heading into Pathogen Glands. Dimaga with the Mutalisks on the map. Hive Tech starter, +1/+1 on the way. And of course, Dimaga has a third.
Dimaga has a third. He's had it for a while now. Revival supply block.
Yeah,
desperately trying to get the Infestor.
Spore Crawler not done because the Zerglings were still there and denied it.
No transfuse on that Overlord. He's going to lose his Overseer as well.
And
why is he not turning that around?
This gives him the map control. This gives him complete vision of the map, Dimaga that is. Revival is restricted in his scouting opportunities or possibilities. The Roach run by has been spotted, and the Mutalisks are already on the way back. Reinforcements would help out a lot here, but suddenly Zerglings in the main base. There's just nothing that he has.
Yeah, Dimaga is dominating this game right now.
Oh, but he's going to lose his third.
He will lose his third base, but can he do enough damage with his Lings? He's in 2 places at once, doing a lot of damage to the drone lines.
Ah, the Queen is going to survive. That's the problem with Mutalisks. If you don't have too many on the map, it's really difficult for you to take down the Roaches before they do damage. And Dimaga's third base is gone as a result.
Ultralisk Cavern spotted. Will Revival follow the steps of Roro and go into Swarm Hosts here? It's a very different game than what we saw last time, but obviously Infestor is not going to be too useful against this.
I would really like to see Dimaga use a few Infestors too. Ultralisk can be great, but with good kiting and really excellent micro, we've seen already Roro doing quite well against Dimaga's style here. As soon as those Infestors, on the other hand, entered the battle, then suddenly everything changed because Dimaga's Fungal really did a number on those Roaches. Once the Roaches can't run,
yeah,
those Ultralisks are amazing.
Exactly. By the way, we saw Revival start an Infestation Pit and then cancel it. You forgot that he already had one. And he also has Pathogen Glands. He needs to react, doing something. Is he going to start a ton of Storm Hosts and try to surprise him? Yeah, that's what we see.
Yeah, Swarm Hosts once again. Dimaga is up against exactly the same composition that Roro used against him. Let's see how he fares this time. Revival playing it a little bit different though, starting his own hive. And for Dimaga, it's really an issue that this third base didn't survive. He double expands, but it's definitely annoying. I like that he only committed to a few Mutalisks. You know, he got the map control, he killed the Overlords, he made sure that Revival doesn't have vision, forced a reaction out of his opponent, and then saved his gas for the transition that we see now.
What a tragedy it would be if Revival, though, is allowed to get these Swarm Hosts out, and we have almost a direct repeat of what happened. Dimaga having a massive lead and then throwing it away. He needs to respond to this. And last time, you know, the Mutalisk transition, we talked about how possible it would have been. We'll see if he decides to do something like that now that he's scouted this.
He's much faster with his Broodlord transition, though, and that will help him. I feel that in the last game that we saw Dimaga play on this map against Roro, nerves were an issue.
Yeah, he stayed on the Ultralisk for way too long.
I think he was a little bit nervous and just made a few wrong decisions. He at some point just had tunnel vision and was walking down that road and trying to make it happen. Right now, I feel that he should be a little bit more confident in his abilities to take it. He has definitely a lead now, especially with the double base that he established, but he has to realize what he's up against and how to counter it.
Yeah. With the Greater Spire almost complete for him, I think he definitely knows exactly what he's doing this time. He's ready for the Swarmhouse transition. I wonder what Revival's next plan is, because he hasn't really heavily committed to Swarmhouse. He only made 5. And he's going
with fire.
Yeah, he's going into his own Ultras cavern, but that's not going to be useful against the Broodlord transition.
It's going to be funny as hell, though.
It certainly will be.
Ultralisk versus Ultralisk, that's going to be cool. That's like elephants fighting.
I think I only saw that once in the ZVZ. It was like July Zerg versus Curious or something forever ago. That was so long ago. Dimaga really pulling ahead in supply here. He's had this base up for longer and has the 4th base with the double expand.
He's on 6 gases and Revival is on 5, so Dimaga didn't take the gas at the 3rd to the top left just yet. But we have Corruptors in the game. They can be used at first, of course, for the corruption as soon as it's ready. Not the case right now. But as soon as that's done, we will see Broodlords. And with Broodlords and Ultralisks, Revival is 1 tech behind. And that might break his neck.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Spire yet either, at all. So,
and this means he basically does not have anti-air.
I mean,
at least he's not anti-air that he can use.
Queens and Spores are not going to cut it against Broodlords. There's too much range.
Yeah, especially not the Spores. I mean, you can get 30 Spores and run them underneath the the Broodlords. That would work, but yeah. He doesn't have them.
Would not.
Yeah, not really. It wasn't. It's not an investment that really you want to go for.
Well, I think Revival is actually just going to fall apart here.
I think so too. It's a 40 supply lead for Dimaga, and he has the better composition. Revival doesn't really have a composition now. And he doesn't have an answer to those Broodlords. He's looking at the Broodlords right now, and he's like, oh, wow, I did not see that coming.
Starts Aspire way too late.
If Dimaga just leaves his PC and goes for a smoke, comes back in 5 minutes, then Revival will be ready. But like this, the only thing that Dimaga has to do is really try to go through and take down those swarm hosts.
Yeah. Ultra is trying to tank here a little bit. He's just trying to buy time for the Spire, but even if he gets a Spire out, he doesn't have the resources to really make this work.
These run bites, on the other hand, I really like those. Dimaga has to commit at some point. As soon as he sees those locusts being gone, he needs to commit. And he knows that there are so many roaches to the top, he could really go for it.
Yeah. He's going for that commitment there.
Well, one Ultralisk is gone. The base once again down, but just barely.
But he loses a lot of roaches in the process. The Spire is getting closer to being done.
Ultralisk being confused, a lot of energy being used up by Revival's Queens. He's going to lose the Ultralisk eventually. Just trying to buy time. Ring run by to the natural, and even more coming down this way.
Yeah, Revival is on his last legs here. He's going to try to start about 12 Mutalisks when that Spire finishes, but I just don't think it's going to be good enough.
I don't think they're going to be there in time. He's already struggling and he's falling behind in supply. Yes, he has the resources for the Corruptors, but he's at 120 against 200 supply. Dimaga building up a bank, sending more Zerglings in, doing so much damage to the economy, and now he's committing.
He goes for the Corruptors, Revival that is, but they're too late.
Too little, too late. All the Swarm Hosts are gone, and the force of Dimaga is now barreling down on Revival's 3rd base, taking down the spines. The transfuses are only a drop of water on... this is game.
Yep, this is game.
Dimaga, the first foreigner who takes a map against a Korean player at the WCS season finals. And we will see if Dimaga can actually advance to meet Roro once again. Now the Corruptors are out, and they definitely will take down those Broodlords that we have.
But the Ultras and the Lings, exactly.
There's nothing on the ground anymore.
Yeah, that Queen is on the ground, but now she's going to be on the gone.
Yeah, Revival is treating this game. He knows that it's not over until the fat lady sings. But at this point, there is just desperation left.
She's opening her mouth to sing right now.
Exactly. We have double base being built in the middle of the map, and here's the GG. Dimaga brings it to game number 3.
Yeah, the first foreigner to take a map in this entire tournament. And the question now becomes, what is the map pick of Revival for the final game of this loser series?
Yeah, Revival was just completely blindsided by the Broodlords. He never thought there would be a Broodlord transition this fast. He saw the Ultralisk and he went into his Swarm Host, had his own Ultras out. He completely assumed that he was fine. But Dimaga with a double expand, he was in such a good position, had a great economy, went for the Broodlords, and once Revival saw that, he kind of knew that it was already over. The only thing that could have happened to win him the game is Dimaga just leaving him alone for a long time, and then Revival would have been able to come back. As it is, he just missed a scout.
Yeah.
And actually, that was like one of those points where the Mutalisk really came into play. Shutting down the Overlords and Overseers of Revival allowed Dimaga to go for this tech completely undetected.
Yeah, he wasn't able to see it at all. Didn't even try to get any Overseers through there because he knew the Mutalisk would just kill him. I mean, he sent maybe 2 Overseers, both of them were killed. The final map is going to be Star Station. I think this is either the first or the second time we've seen this map today, so one of our lesser picked maps so far in this tournament. And it all comes down to this. One of these players is going home empty, and we're going to find out just who it is.
Revival in game number 1, very smart build, was very crisp. He went for exactly the right counter to what Dimaga did. He started with an early pool, took a bit of a risk here, a bit of a gamble. It came completely off. He played it very well, and then he had the right answer to Dimaga's transition. In game number 1, a very different game, Dimaga being the one who was calling the shots and who went for a strategy that completely worked for him. Now we have game 3 on Star Station, the map pick of the Evil Genius. It is Revival who is trying to take down Dimaga now, and this game will determine who is going to the consolation match, who will face Roro, and who is dropping out of the WCS season finals in Korea. We're jumping right into the game, the last one between these two amazing players.